Hey, chosen ones. So, this topic, it may be a little heavy, but please just bear with me, okay? Because when you're with Terriann Belle, we're going to heal. We're going to grow into be our greatest versions. And we have to sometimes be a little bit uncomfortable. But through that discomfort, we will be set free. Do you want to be set free? I know you do. So just hold on. And if any moment, anything that I say gets a little heavy for you, before you start attacking in the comments, which is counterproductive because it doesn't do anything if the wound is still there, just instead sit with what you're feeling and just take a deep breath. Bring yourself back to the present moment and ground yourself, okay? All right. I love you though. It's going to be okay. But anyway, I want you to forgive yourself for how you treated children. Okay? Now, whether this is your own children, your nieces or nephews, your, younger siblings, or even, children that you may have picked on when you were younger. Anytime you were older or you were stronger or you had more power and you abused that power on someone that was younger or smaller or not as strong as you, and you abused that, took it to your advantage, I want you to forgive yourself because you may not have even realized what was going on there. You were dealing with so much pain within you, and other people have done you this way. They have abused their power over you, and you absorbed it in your subconscious. So when you were feeling emotional, your subconscious, that natural reaction is to lash out on something weaker than you. So you would go to children, someone that you deemed as smaller or weaker, and you would lash out that emotion onto them because you just wanted to gain power. You wanted to feel power within yourself. You felt that as you were dealing with all this emotion or you had stuff going on, in order for you to gain that power that you felt you didn't have, you had to go and force it out of somebody else, force it out of a situation. And this looks like bullying. This also looks like losing your temper and being a little bit abusive to children. Now, you're not an abuser. And if you feel empathy and you feel remorse for what you did, you're not an abuser. You're not an abuser. But the reason for why you did abusive things is because you were just reacting. You were not responding, okay? You weren't responding because if you were responding, you would have used your wisdom, your empathy in those situations. But you weren't in your soul in those moments. You kind of fell into your ego, and that's okay because it happens. We are human. We humans sin. We make mistakes. So don't beat yourself up for that. But when you slipped into that ego and you were reacting more in the flesh, the ego is going to use the subconscious, which is 90% of your programming. Your conscious, your soul, your intuition is like the back 10%. So when you were reacting with that 90% of what you knew, a lot of the stuff that you knew was things that you absorbed. You absorbed it like a sponge. And because it was done to you, that's at the forefront of your mind. That's what your subconscious thinks is the way to go about it, without the type of conscious awareness to think with your empathy, with your soul on, is this something that is truly going to be the best decision in this moment? Is this a healthy response? Is this a healing response? You weren't thinking of that at the time because your subconscious was at the forefront programming you because you were emotional. So what happens is when you reacted that way, and you may have lost your temper, you lashed out at people, lashed out at children, you may have Whatever you did, we don't even have to discuss it because that's between you and God. You know what you did. And there are some things that you are holding on deep within you that you won't even tell people of what you did because you're so ashamed. You feel so much guilt, so much remorse for what you did to these poor innocent children. These could be your children. They could be, relatives, people that your nieces and nephews, people you babysat. They could be anybody. And you're holding that in. And you feel so bad because you knew that afterwards you looked back and you thought, wow, I was so wrong for what I did. That was wrong. That's a good thing right there. Because there are people out here that abuse people and have no remorse. They do children so wrong, innocent children so wrong, and have no remorse or empathy whatsoever. But the fact that you feel bad, the fact that you have actually shed tears because of what you've done, shows you that you have a very, very good heart. And you knew that when you were behaving this way, it wasn't you, but it felt like something came over you. It did. It did. Gotta forgive. And because you feel genuine sorrow for what you've done, and you can take that accountability and you can own up to what you did was wrong, you can take responsibility, you can take full responsibility for the wrong that you did, you are on the verge of healing this and fixing the problem so that you never have to deal with it again. So what happened was a manifestation of what was going on internally. You did not feel strong enough. You did not feel powerful enough. And in order for you to gain that power, you had to steal the power by going into a situation where you felt you had more power in the situation. So you went after something that was not as strong as you. But that's not how you get your power. You gain your power by pouring into yourself, and you challenge that power by going against things that you seem to be stronger than you. You know how they say, why don't you pick up somebody your own size? Yes, seriously, that's what it's supposed to be. Go to somebody your own size or bigger. You see, David and Goliath. Is David notable because he went against somebody that was smaller or weaker than him? Or is David because he defeated Goliath, that giant? He defeated somebody that was stronger than him, that was bigger than him. And that's why David is David, because his strength is internal. He has so much internal strength that was packed into a tiny little body. That's how you get your power back. By pouring into yourself and challenging, by going against things that seem stronger than you or bigger than you, or things that you've never done before, things that are a challenge, things that are intimidating. When you go after that and you go full force into it with no fear, or even if you feel the fear, you do it anyway, that's how you gain your power. Not by taking it away from innocent people. Not by taking it from the meek. You're not a bad person for what you did. You're not a bad mother. You're not a bad father. You're not a bad big sister, big brother. You're not a bad aunt or uncle. Some of you watching this, you're not a bad grandparent. You're just wounded. You were just wounded. And when we're wounded, we react. We don't really respond. It's okay though. It's going to be okay. Because as long as you heal that pain, you go to God, you go to your creator to ask for forgiveness, you repent, and you vow to not make those mistakes again, you're doing it, baby. The present is what matters.